Hello, it's Julius from Basic Financials. This video is about the Self-Employment Income Support Scheme, or SEISS. That is relating to the coronavirus, and the thing to remember is it's just for self-employed people. So if you're in business as self-employed, it's not just self-employed, it's also if you're a member of a partnership. So it's for self-employed and members of partnerships. But you need to be registered with HMRC under those terms, and you really need to have done a tax return for the year ended 5th of April 2019 and filed it with Companies House by the 23rd of April. Normally the deadline's 31st of January, but they extended it to the 23rd of April for this scheme. So you need to have, that's 23rd of April to 2020, you need to have filed your 2019 tax return. Now, you need to be trading in the current tax, or the tax year to the 5th of April 2020, and also intending to trade in this current tax year to the 5th of April 21, or you would be if it weren't for the coronavirus. So those are the key things. The other thing is you need to have been adversely affected by the coronavirus. So if you've got a business that's booming, it shouldn't really apply to you. Now, the way the eligibility, apart from those things, can be a little bit hit and miss. Some people are going to feel like they should be getting something and they won't because they don't qualify. And one of the big things is that your profits in the year to the 5th of April 2019 need to have been less than £50,000. That's your taxable profit, according to your tax return. Now, alternatively, it's for the 3 years to that date, to the 5th of April 2019. So look at your tax returns for 16, 17, 17, 18 and 18, 19 and take an average, and if that's under 50,000 then you would qualify. If it's over 50,000 you wouldn't. So you've got two possible criteria. If you're under 50,000 for the year ended 5th of April 2019, yep, great, you qualify. If you don't because it's over, then they'd have a look at the three years up to that point and take an average. If you're under, then you would qualify. Now, HMRC, today's date is I think it's the 8th of May today. Yep, 8th of May. HMRC have started to write to people that they think qualify for this scheme based on the records that they've got. So you should be receiving a letter very soon if you haven't done already. And they're inviting people to make claims online, and it should be a fairly straightforward process. I haven't seen it myself, but I've heard of people who have gone in and had a look. Now you can go in and see if you qualify. There's a calculator to see if you qualify, and through that system you can go in and make a claim. But what will happen is they will invite you to make a claim between the 13th of May and the 18th of May, and they're randomly selected for when you go in and see if you're eligible. And go through start the process. The reason they're doing that is so that it spreads so it doesn't overload the system, basically. So now the other thing is you're going to need a government gateway account. Now, I've done previous videos about this before, about setting up a government gateway account and personal tax account. I wouldn't do it through that way, because that normally requires you to get an activation code to set up your personal tax service and self-assessment service, and you could easily go through the wrong route. What I would do is, when you go into this self-employment income support scheme, when you Google that, go into it, and there's a method there. If you haven't already got a personal tax account, you can set it up from there, and that will be immediate, and you won't have to wait for any sort of activation code. So if you haven't got one already, do that now, so you're prepared, so it's easier when you make your claim. You're all set up. You'll have to have your unique taxpayer reference, your national insurance number, and you'll also need to give some personal ID when you do the process to verify who you are, which might be something from your passport or your driver's licence. And so that will just make it quicker if you do that now, and then when you actually make the claim, it won't be quite so difficult. And I think, from what I gather, it's going to be fairly straightforward. From what I've seen on the other claims, it is fairly straightforward. It makes it very user-friendly, so don't worry about it. Just get prepared. Now, yes, so you can do that. Now, the maximum amount that you can have the claim for is £2,500 a month for 3 months. So the maximum amount is £7,500. At least that's the way it is at the moment. It's possible it might be extended, but not at the moment. And HMRC will have all the information, or should do, that they need. So they will calculate the amount that they think is due for you. If you, for some reason, disagree, or your accountant disagrees, then you can appeal, and there's a process for doing that, and it will say on the claim how to do that, I think, anyway. But there's no reason why it should be wrong, because HMRC have got all the information, and if it's on your tax return and they processed it, then everything should be there. So if your profits are under 50,000, you'd be entitled to a grant of 80% of your profits, but up to a maximum of £2,500 a month. So that's why the maximum is 7.5. If your profits are proportionally less, then you wouldn't get that much. So it's 80% or £2,500 a month. Is there anything else? I don't think there's anything else to say at the moment, other than do try and get prepared for it. So remember, the claims are going to be, you're invited to make a claim on a date between the 13th and the 18th of May when you go in and start the process. So you can go in and start the process now, get your date, and then make a note to actually go in and do it, and try and set your gateway account up beforehand if you can. Doesn't matter, you can do it at the same time, but it'll just take you a bit longer overall. I hope that helps. If you've got any questions, you can always ask me a question, but there is lots of information on the .gov website on this scheme, so you could have a little look at that as well. If you leave any comments or questions in the box below, if you like and subscribe as usual, and I'll see you again for another video soon. Thanks for listening.